Uh, Antonio, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can say
Okay,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Thanks, Antonio. Thanks for the presentation and giving introduction to air pollution and the problem we are facing. So today, in through this presentation, I want to talk about how we can combat about air pollution and also the importance of air purification for human health. So let me start begin with, I mean, I would like to introduce something about me to the audience. So currently I am working for Smart Air. We are a social enterprise working into, air pollution sector. Little bit about me, I'm not an expert in air pollution, first of all. My background is actually into engineering. So I have a master's degree in microelectronics from TU Delft, and I'm like really passionate about raising the awareness for air pollution, and that's the sole reason that I have joined Smart Air's Clean Air Mission. So let's begin talk about air pollution problem. So basically air pollution is everywhere. To talk about outdoor, you'll see air pollution. So basically this is one of the pictures which we took a couple of months ago in Delhi streets. So this tells about the air quality level in Delhi. So the meter says it's 876. That is the air quality, or the PM 2.5 concentration, that is outdoor. A lot of time people say that probably air pollution problem is it's only like outdoor problem, but actually it's also present indoors. So in this picture you'll see we try to measure the air quality at different indoor places, restaurants, you'll see, then cafe, gym, office. So here all you'll see that air quality is actually bad. If you see this meter reading, it says, it indicates some number. For example, 196, 197, 189, 153. So what is this number? Basically, this is AQI, or air quality index, which measures or which indicates the quality of air. So what I did this morning was I went ahead and I used one of the website which tells about the air quality. So I stumbled across Maupato's air quality, and the AQI levels were pretty good. I mean, when you compare to Delhi. So the air quality index, or AQI, was 21 in Maupato, which is considered good. On contrary, today you see Delhi, I mean, we are not having good air quality. The AQI level is at 233. What is this AQI? Basically, AQI, as I mentioned, is air quality index. It basically gives the measure of how good or bad your air is. So at times, AQI could be confusing for a lot of people. The more general term which we use is PM 2.5 microgram per meter cube. Basically, it's a concentration. It tells how many particulates are present in in 1 meter cube. So if I consider this is like probably one cube, 1 meter cube, how many particles are there? So that is what that is how we measure the air quality. And EPA, that is Environmental Protection Agency from US, has further classified uh, air quality into a different category. So you'll see that when PM 2.5 is between 0 to 12, it's considered good. Or AQI, like if you convert into AQI, it's like 0 to 50. So as you see in Maupato, it's the air quality today is pretty good. As you go on, the air quality decreases. Air quality concentration from 12 to 35 microgram is considered moderate, and you further go down, like say from 150 to 250 micrograms, which is currently in Delhi, it's considered very healthy. And when it goes beyond 500, it's basically called going beyond the index. I think that's what we saw, I think, a couple of days back in Beijing, when the AQI level suddenly rose. So basically, like the major reason for pollution, or like the way we say like air is bad, we measure it through PM 2.5. Basically, PM 2.5 is just particulate matter, and they are like very tiny, very small particle. So through this picture, I would like to explain, how small PM 2.5 is. So you see, this is a normal human hair, which on an average has a diameter between 50 to 70 micron. That's normally a diameter for a human hair. And when you compare it with other things like PM10, that is particulate matter 10, dust, pollen, mold, they are of, like somewhere around the range of 10 microgram. And if you go down further, you will see that PM the dangerous particle which comes from combustion, organic compound, they are like very, very small. They are like probably 20, 25 times smaller than the human hair. The diameter is around 2.5 microgram. So this is what, you talk about what is PM 2.5. And these are some of the sources. We all know, as you also mentioned, Antonio, like sources of air pollution, that is traffic, industry, construction, crop burning, which is like big problem in northern India, firecrackers. This is also when, during Diwali here in Delhi, we face a lot of pollution problem. So these are some of the common sources for air pollution. And also, as you mentioned, like air pollution is a big problem, and we call it as a silent killer. The reason being, it leads to that due to different diseases or different reasons. For instance, heart attack, lung cancer, bronchitis, emphysema. So these are some of the reasons, when you inhale this particulate, or, when you inhale the air, these particles are present, this PM 2.5. Actually, it could go to our veins, it could actually go to our brain, it can go to our blood vessels, and it could lead to, all these fatal diseases. But here I would like to talk about, something very interesting. Like air pollution doesn't kill the way you think. A lot of people think that, air pollution, if if I ask somebody, like, what could lead to death due to air pollution, the common answer which we get is probably, people say some respiratory disorder or lung cancer or something like that. But actually there's something different which I'll be talking about now. Like there are some scientists now in the Boston. They did study the impact of, uh, air pollution on human health. And what they found out was, basically, as you can see from this graph, with every level of increase in PM 2.5, the probability of having a heart attack, it increases. So as you can see from the blue line, that measures, like that gives the percentage increase in having heart attack, and the red line is the increase in PM 2.5. As you can see, as the PM 2.5 level increases, the probability of having heart attack increases. So this is one of the studies which was done back in Boston in United States. There are other studies as well, which I want to discuss. Is, scientists in Beijing, what they did, they had some volunteers and they randomly assigned them into two groups. One of the groups were wearing mask, one of the groups of the people were not wearing mask. And what they found was pretty interesting. Like the people who were not wearing mask, they tend to have, higher blood pressure and higher heartbeats compared to people wearing mask. So this basically wearing mask as mask protects from air pollution. It does help, in controlling the blood pressure levels. Again, there was another study done in Shanghai, where the scientists or the researchers, they divided the students into two groups, the college students. In the one group, they gave them a shoddy air purifier, and to the other group, they give actual air purifier. And this is what, and they ask them to run air purifier in their dorm room or in their living room. So as you can see, the fake air purifiers, it literally didn't had any, impact or reduction in the air quality. On the other hand, like the true air purifier, you could see the yellow line. There was a difference or change in their air quality level. So further, scientists, studied their effect on considering all the metrics. So effects were pretty big. Arteries were narrower for people, were not using like the real air purifier. They had, blood coagulation. There was thickening of the blood. There was constraint in the vein. So these were all the, effects due to air pollution. And surprisingly, the effects on lung function were minimal, and statistically it was not relevant. So this actually surprised me. Like air pollution had like more impact on heart rather than lungs. So the bottom line is that, air pollution kills primarily by heart, blood vessels, not by lungs. This is what, what we have seen in the data by now. So as I said, air pollution is a silent killer. So this is how, the majority of deaths due to air pollution, heart attack. That is one of the biggest reason people who are dying, followed by lung cancer and bronchitis. So probably if you see somebody having heart attack, it could be due to air pollution. We don't know. We really don't know what air pollution has an impact on our health. So as you mentioned, air pollution is a bigger problem worldwide, and it's a major problem here in India. I pulled up some statistics. According to the latest Greenpeace report, around 120,000 people were killed due to air pollution in 2020. And most of the time, if you can see from this calendar chart, most of the time, the average concentration level is way above than WHO standards and Indian Pollution Control Board standards. So that is pretty scary situation. And then this year, I mean, again, we studied, like what was the average air quality level on an annual basis in different City. We'll see that it was pretty high. I mean, Delhi, as always, has topped the chart with average yearly concentration of 89 microgram, while other cities. So since, I mean, we are smart here, we are based in Delhi. So we further studied, like the air pollution levels or air quality levels in Delhi. So we analyzed the air quality levels from 2015 to actually 2020, and you'll see like this is quite repetitive or same pattern. What this graph says is basically like air pollution, it starts peaking somewhere in September. You'll see that's a common trend, and it peaks somewhere around December, January. You see all the years. So why this trend? I mean, this is not something just it happened in Delhi. Uh, it actually happens in happened in we studied other cities as well. So this is what we saw it. When we compared winter average with summer average, the some winter air quality was way higher in all the cities: Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Hyderabad. So this clearly shows that air quality is pretty bad during winter season. But why is it so? I mean, why the air gets more worse during winters? It's because of a natural phenomenon called temperature inversion. So on the left side, you'll see this is a normal condition. It's a normal. It's not a winter day. The pollutants, I mean, just we have a upper layer which has a warm air, and the particulate just escapes through and it goes into the atmosphere. On the other hand, during winter, what happens is the air is cold, means air is dense, so the particulate tend to remain suspended uh, on the ground or lower layer of atmosphere, and due to which we see a smog or fog. So this is the reason that due to temperature inversion, the air quality is usually bad during winters. Now, so far, we have been talking about, we have studied about air pollution, what is AQI level, what effect air pollution has on human health. Now, I want to talk about how actually you can combat air pollution. The good news is that we can combat air pollution. So first, I mean, let's talk about the outdoor. So how you can protect yourself from air pollution while going outdoor? The answer is masks. But here the problem is that a lot of people have like skeptical. I mean, they said, are the masks effective? The first question, I mean, they ask usually to us is that there is no way that this mask can capture the really tiny particles. When I say tiny particle, that is like PM 2.5. So luckily, to answer this question, the scientists have done some experiment to show that mask works or not. So the scientists, a group of researchers in Edinburgh, what they did, they did an experiment. For that, they used a diesel generator to mimic a car exhaust. Next to it, they stick a pipe to it, and they attached a mask to it. And on the other side, they attach a particle counter, or you can say air quality monitor, which could measure particle sizes below as small as 0.007 micron. So after doing this test, what they found was, if you wear nothing, obviously you will not block any particles. If you put on a handkerchief, it blocks around 28% particulate. Surgical mask, surprisingly, it blocks 80% of the particulate. This is what I mean surprises a lot of people. Then cycling mask, they were in the range of 80%. And the 3M or the respirators, the masks which we use, N95 and 99 masks, they were in the range of about 93 95%. So this answer first questions that yes, masks are effective, they can block the smaller particles. The second question which we see that like people say that when you wear a mask, all the pollution just leaks from the side, and it cannot really capture harmful pollutants. So for this, to answer this question, what we have something called fit test. So basically, fit test is done using a fit test machine. As you can see, the blue machine. This is a really fancy machine which measures, which is used for conducting fit tests. So it has these two pipes. You can see the blue pipe. It samples or measures the number of particulate, the air quality outside, and the white pipe actually it goes inside the mask, and it measures the number of particles which are present inside the mask while you are wearing it. So basically at Smart Air, we did this test to find out, how different masks actually, are the masks effective? While you're wearing it or not, or there's like, it's just like not true. So this is the fit test result. So we tested all different masks, starting from surgical mask to a lot of other masks which were available in the market. So these were the the results. So basically, when you use a surgical mask, actually it blocks 50% of the particulate. So this may again surprise a lot of people. People say that probably surgical masks are useless, but after seeing this data, we can confidently say that yes, surgical masks are not useless. If I was given a choice to wear nothing or a surgical mask, I would definitely choose to wear. I'll choose surgical mask. So these were the results of the fit test. Now the things gets really interesting. What if we overlay the cost of this mask with the performance effectiveness of the mask? So this is how you see the result. So basically you will see this line like the cost of this mask, which is in Indian rupees in the Indian market. You'll see that surgical mask is one of the cheapest one, and they have got other masks as well. And you'll see that here that this mask, Vogue mask, which costed around $2,000, 2,000 rupees, the effectiveness was around 89%. And when you compare with other cheaper masks like this, they were like far, better in terms of the performance. So this tells something, this tells that, effectiveness and cost have no correlation. It doesn't really mean that, if you pay more, will get more. So this is one of the things which we found out. So to conclude, yes, the masks are effective. When you go outdoor, you need to wear masks. And through this data and through this research, we have seen that masks are effective. So what about indoor? Like we spend our most of our time working at home or office indoors. So how air purifiers can protect us from air pollution? So the way I would like to talk about air purifiers in coming slides. So yes, air purifier helps. So this is one of the fancy Swiss machine, fancy air purifier. It just costs 150,000 rupees, or if you convert into US dollars, around $2,000. But the problem is that not everyone can afford this. This is probably beyond reach of most of the people. So does that mean that we can't protect ourselves from air pollution? Can't we protect our health? The answer is that if you that's what the answer at Smarter we found out. Our founder Thomas, when he was living in Beijing, and in 2013, and he faced this problem. So that is when he figured out air purifiers help, and then he opened up this air purifier. So this shows the block diagram or the black box of air purifier. It's pretty simple. The dirty air, it comes from beneath, and this coarse particle filter or pre-filter, it filters the large particle. And then there is a fan, it pushes the air through HEPA filter, and that's it when we get clean air. So the key ingredient of an air purifier is a fan and a HEPA filter. So basically this HEPA filter, the abbreviation for HEPA filter is high efficiency particulate air filters. And the property, or the property of HEPA filter is that they capture 99% of the particulate uh, above and below zero point 0.3 micron. So I would like to stress that it captures particle sizes below and above zero point 0.3 micron. So it means that it would capture 99% of the particles which are above the size 0.3 micron and which are smaller than 0.3 micron. And they captures different things in the air. For instance, virus, bacteria, PM 2.5, pollen, mold, etc. So as you can see, virus is smaller than 0.3 micron. It's almost twice smaller than PM 2.5. So the property of HEPA filter is that they block 99% of this particulate. So now a lot of people must be thinking, HEPAs are something new, expensive, or a cutting edge technology. The answer is that actually HEPA filters are made from like they are made from polyester fiber. They are basically non-woven synthetic material, like the shirt I'm wearing. So HEPA filters are basically just made of randomly arranged polyester fibers, and they were invented around 80 years back in 1940s, when American scientists were during World War II were working on Manhattan Project, and they wanted to protect their the researchers or the people working on the project from harmful radiation. That is when the HEPA filter was invented. And the good part is that none of the company has patented it, meaning that everyone can buy it, anyone can make HEPA filters. So there is no reason that air purifier should be that expensive, costing over $2,000. So no, I mean, as I mentioned, the key ingredients of essential component of air purifier is just a fan, which is readily available in any market, and a HEPA filter. The filters actually which are also found in vacuum cleaner. So as I mentioned, our founder Tom, he was facing this problem of air pollution. Well, he was a student back in Beijing, and that's what he came to know about. This air purifiers are simple fan and a filter. That's it, nothing more. So what he did, he tested different fan. Then he got HEPA filter from the market, and just then he made his own air purifier. That is like do-it-yourself air purifier. So this is the first smart air DIY air purifier which Thomas built it in his own apartment. As you can see that it's not fancy, it doesn't look good, but this is what like he built it on. So after that, what he said, okay, I built up the air purifier. Let me go out and test if actually it works. So what he did, was he started taking pictures of HEPA filter every week. So this is the HEPA filter it looked like in week 1, week 2, 3, 4, 5. So as you can see, as he started using the HEPA filters, it was capturing more and more particles. And at this point of time, Thomas was very happy that this actually particulates are going inside the filters and not going inside his lung. Just so I would like to show. Uh, Hello.
Yes, you can hear
Oh
you.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You can also see me. I'm not sure. You can see me as well, right, Antonio?
Yes, we can see you.
So I want to also show something. So this is actually we got this HEPA filter. This is like the new HEPA filter, which it looks like. So imagine this is the new filter when you're not used it. So we have got some filters I wanted to show to the audience. So this is the HEPA filter, which has been used for a week. This is in Delhi air. I'm not talking about the outer air. I'm just talking about inside the home. So this is what it looks like in week 1. When you further use it, the filter looks like something like this. It captures more and more particle. This is something like it looks like in 1 month. And after you use it for long, like say 3 months, the filter, it looks something like this. So imagine all this polluted air which we are breathing.
Yeah.
And thankfully, this through HEPA filter, it captures the particulate inside it. So yeah, so this was the picture which Thomas took. and he was glad that actually this particle is not going into his lungs and they are trapped inside the filter. But he's a very inquisitive person. That made him think that, is that like really tiny particles or what are these particles? So what he did next was, he went next and bought a particle counter to test it, whether these things really work or not. So actually spend more money in buying this laser particle counter, the Dylos one, than the actual air purifier. Then what he did was like a very simple test at his bedroom. So what he did was, he would put off the air purifier in his bedroom, in his apartment, and put right next to his face. And on the other side of the room, he kept the laser particle counter. And this is what he saw. So in this graph, you'll see that, the red line, it shows the outdoor air quality in Beijing, particularly which was bad in the morning around 6 or 7 a.m. And the blue line shows, the reduction in the particulate matter. So as you see, as soon as he turned on the air purifier, the air quality, the number of particulates in his room went down in an hour, and it stayed low. So what he did, he did test after test after test. He did repeated this test. On an average, what he found out, the DIY air purifier which he built at his home removed 92% of the 2.5 2.5 particles, and 84% of the smaller particle, that is 0.5 micron. So next, what he did was, then he compared the purifier which he built at his home with the other with other air purifier, that is Blue Air, Philips, IQ Air. He compared this one, and you'll see this the effectiveness for the both of the DIY air purifier which he built. The DIY which I already told you, it removed 92% of the 2.5 particulate and 84% of the smaller particles. The Canon, which has a stronger fan, removed 96 and 97 particulate. So as you can see that, it removed as much as particulate compared to the other machines. And again, if you overlay the cost of air purifiers on versus effectiveness, we'll see that, we'll see the similar result what we saw for the mask. As you see that, the DIY air purifier removed as much as particulate as the other purifier, but they were a lot cheaper. I mean, this again tells that, paying more necessarily doesn't mean that we'll get more clean air. Even if you leave out, this DIY air purifier which we built, with Thomas built, if you compare the commercial air purifier, which is Blue Air, Philips, and IQ Air, actually the Blue Air, Philips, which is cheaper than the other air purifiers, it remove more particulates than the other machines. So clean air, I would say, is not luxury. You don't need to have to pay a lot of money. You don't need to break your bank to get clean air. So this is when, Thomas started, doing a lot of tests, and he started putting all this test data and online, and he started, doing a lot of workshops, like the workshop which we are doing. And that's when, the smart air was started. We started in 2013. We are a social enterprise, B Corp certified social enterprise, and our mission is that, we want to provide free information and knowledge on air pollution so that, people can protect their health from air pollution. They could be aware and they could be educated about the harmfulness or harms of air pollution. And our second past mission is, we do provide low cost yet effective air purifiers. The one, I mean, as we saw, the air purifiers need not to be expensive. They are just fan and a filter. So far, like, this is the Smart Air Impact. As I said, we are a global social organization. So our 100% of the profit, it goes back for the society. So we invest our 60% of the revenue back to knowledge and education, so that we can make more and more people aware. We do a lot of testing, as you saw from the previous slide. So 20% of profits goes there, and other 20% goes in bringing more and more clean air to the people. So we, by now, we are present in, I think, more than 12 countries now. We have shipped over 60,000 air purifiers. We have done more than 500 workshops, And through our blog post, we have, enlightened, educated more than 12 people, 12 million people. I mean, that is like the rate of a website. And in person, and the in-person workshop, like there are 15,000, more than 15,000 people who have benefited from this, from our workshop. With this, I would like to say breathe safe. And if somebody has the question, I mean, probably they can ask us.